Hello, my name is Pastor Kathy Kollar. I'm the pastor of Pleasant Valley Lutheran Church near Malabar Farm and St. Paul Lutheran Church in Lucas. Greetings. We are reading through the Bible with commentary. We are in the book of Exodus. And yesterday I read a particularly long passage, several chapters, because I wanted to get through 9 of the 10 plagues. So the Israelites have grown into a nation, and the Egyptians have forgotten all about Joseph, and they have made them into slaves and are oppressing them and working them. And so Moses is sent by God to go and talk to Pharaoh with his brother Aaron. And the first 9 plagues that we read, all 9 of them yesterday, snakes, blood, frogs, gnats, flies, cattle just drop dead, boils, hail, and locusts. So the poor Egypt has just been eaten up, chewed up, stunk up. The land full of all of the water turned to blood, all of the land full of frogs, and then full of gnats, and then full of flies, and then all of the cattle dying, and it's dark, and people have boils all over them. They've just been pretty miserable. And then whatever was left, the locusts came and ate up. And at the very end of chapter 10, Pharaoh said to Moses, "Get away from me, take care you do not see my face again, for on the day you see my face you shall die." Moses said, "Just as you say, I will never see your face again." So now we're up to chapter 11 and the 10th plague. The Lord said to Moses, "I will bring one more plague upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards he will let you go from here. Indeed, when he lets you go, he will drive you away. Tell the people that every man is to ask his neighbor, and every woman is to ask her neighbor for objects of silver and gold." The Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, Moses himself was a man of great importance in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's officials and in the sight of the people. Well, every time Moses shows up and says, okay, there's going to be a plague, and then there's a plague, and lots of the plagues did not affect the land of Goshen, just the land of the Egyptians. So the Egyptians are getting tired of the Israelites. Verse 4, Moses said, "Thus says the Lord, about midnight I will go out through Egypt. Every firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sits on his throne to the firstborn of the female slave who is behind the handmill, and all the firstborn of the livestock. Then there will be a loud cry throughout the whole land of Egypt, such as never been or will be again. But not a dog shall growl at any of the Israelites, not at people, not at animals, so that you may know that the Lord makes a distinction between Egypt and Israel. Then all these officials of yours shall come down to me and bow low to me, saying, 'Leave us, you and all the people who follow you.' After that, I will leave." So this is actually Moses talking to Pharaoh, and I just didn't realize that. As we were just saying, Moses said, "Just as you say, I will never see your face again." Before he walks out of the room, this is what Moses is saying to Israel: "I will one more plague upon you. There will be such a loud cry, but not a dog shall growl. Then all these officials of yours shall come down to me and bow low, saying, 'Leave us, you and all the people who follow you.' After that, I will leave." And in hot anger, he left Pharaoh. Verse 9. The Lord said to Moses, "Pharaoh will not listen to you, in order that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt." Moses and Aaron performed all these wonders before Pharaoh, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. He did not let the people of Israel go out of his land. Chapter 12. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, "This month shall mark for you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year for you. Tell the whole congregation of Israel that the 10th of this month they are to take a lamb for each family." All right, so when they say the 10th of each month, of this month, the months run through the lunar calendar. So they're saying, okay, this month that you're in right now, this is the first month, and starting with the 10th day, each household shall take a lamb for each family, a lamb for each household. If a household is too small for a whole lamb, it shall join its closest neighbor in obtaining one. The lamb shall be divided in proportion to the number of people who eat of it. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a year-old male. You may take it from the sheep or from the goats. So even though it's lamb, it could be goat. You shall keep it until the 14th day of this month. Then the whole assembled congregation of Israel shall slaughter it at twilight. It meaning all of the animals. So everybody is to gather together, enough people together to cover one lamb or goat, and then to slaughter that at twilight. They shall take some of the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts and on the lintel of the houses in which they eat it. They put the blood all over the whole frame of the door. They shall eat the lamb that same night. They shall eat it roasted over the fire with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. Do not eat any of it raw or boiled in water, but roasted over the fire with its head, legs, and inner organs. You shall let none of it remain until the morning. Anything that remains until the morning you shall burn. This is how you shall eat it: your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it hurriedly. It is the Passover of the Lord. For I will pass through the land of Egypt that night, and I will strike down every firstborn in the land of Egypt, both human beings and animals. And on all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgments. I am the Lord. The blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you live. When I see the blood, I will pass over you, and no plague shall destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. So to this day, when Israelites or Jewish people celebrate Passover, they read that passage and they remember. Literally thousands of years later, they still observe Passover, and they eat, although they don't eat lamb anymore, if I remember correctly. But the initial Passover, they were to take a lamb or a goat, slaughter it, take the blood, put it on the door. And when God came along and saw the blood, then would literally pass over that house and go on to the next house. And this is where the word Passover comes from. And you were to eat it with your sandals on and your staff, that you're ready to go, packed up, ready to go. Verse 14, this day shall be a day of remembrance for you. You shall celebrate it as a festival to the Lord. Throughout your generations you shall observe it as a perpetual ordinance. And to this day, Jewish people still remember Passover every year. It's 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. On the first day you shall remove leaven from your houses. For whoever eats leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day shall be cut off from Israel. On the first day you shall hold a solemn assembly, and on the 7th day a solemn assembly. No work shall be done on those days. Only what everyone must eat, that alone may be prepared by you. You shall observe the festival of unleavened bread, for on this very day I brought your companies out of the land of Egypt. You shall observe this day throughout your generations as a perpetual ordinance. In the first month, from the evening of the 14th day until the evening of the 21st day, you shall eat no unleavened bread. For 7 days no leaven shall be found in your houses. For whoever eats what is leavened shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether an alien or a native of the land. You shall eat nothing leavened. In all your settlements you shall eat unleavened bread. So the leavened yeast, although leavening also includes baking powder, baking soda, sourdough, which has a form of yeast, any of that, it all represents sin. And it's like, nope, you have to go through, and to this day, people will do spring cleaning, and they will go through the house, and they will make sure there is nothing with any kind of leavening, and they will take it all out. And then they will have a week of no yeast, nothing that raises bread in any form. So no baking powder, no baking soda, nothing, for 1 week. Verse 21. Then Moses called all the elders of Israel and said to them, "Go, select lambs for your families, and slaughter the Passover lamb. Take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is the basin, and touch the lintel and the 2 doorposts with the blood in your basin. None of you shall go outside the door of your house until morning. For the Lord will pass through to strike down the Egyptians. When he sees the blood on the lintel and the 2 doorposts, the Lord will pass over that door and will not allow the destroyer to enter your houses to strike you down. You shall observe this rite as perpetual ordinance for you and your children. When you come to the land that the Lord will give you, as he has promised, you shall keep this observance. And when your children ask you, 'What do you mean by this observance?' you shall say, 'It is the Passover sacrifice to the Lord, for he passed over the houses of the Israelites in Egypt when he struck down the Egyptians, but spared our houses.' And the people bowed down and worshipped." Verse 28, the Israelites went and did just as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. At midnight the Lord struck down all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, to the firstborn of the prisoner who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of the livestock. Pharaoh arose in the night, he and all his officials, and all the Egyptians, and there was a loud cry in Egypt, for there was not a house without someone dead. Then he summoned Moses and Aaron in the night, and said, "Rise up, go away from my people, both you and the Israelites. Go, worship the Lord as you said. Take your flocks and your herds as you said, and be gone, and bring a blessing on me too." So Pharaoh's like, "Okay, fine, get out, get out, get out." Verse 33, the Egyptians urged the people to hasten their departure from the land, for they said, "We shall all be dead." So every house has lost somebody. And they're like, they've already had all their animals killed, and it's already been a very miserable experience. They're like, "Yeah, you need to go." So the people took their dough before it was leavened, with their kneading bowls wrapped up in their cloaks on their shoulders. The Israelites had done as Moses told them. They had asked the Egyptians for jewelry of silver and gold and for clothing, and the Lord had given the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they let them have what they asked, and so they plundered the Egyptians. So they didn't have time to let the bread rise. They put it up on their shoulders and hauled it off. And they asked their neighbors, and the neighbors said, "Yes, here's jewelry, here's gold, just take it all." Verse 37, the Israelites journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 men on foot, besides children and women. A mixed crowd also went up with them, and livestock in great numbers, both flocks and herds. They baked unleavened cakes of the dough they had brought out of Egypt. It was not leavened, because they were driven out of Egypt and could not wait, nor had they prepared any provisions for themselves. Verse 40, the time that the Israelites had lived in Egypt was 430 years. At the end of 430 years, on that very day, all the companies of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. That was for the Lord a night of vigil, to bring them out of the land of Egypt. That same night is a vigil to be kept for the Lord by all the Israelites throughout their generations. Verse 43, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "This is the ordinance for the Passover. No foreigner shall eat of it." So we have lots of tradition about how to do Passover, which they've now been doing for 3,000 years. So there's a lot throughout. We'll still be hearing about the Passover into the future. But this is where they're really establishing, here's how you observe Passover. No foreigner shall eat of it, but any slave who has been purchased may eat of it after he has been circumcised. No bound or hired servant may eat of it. It shall be eaten in one house. You shall not take any of the animal outside the house, and you shall not break any of its bones. The whole congregation of Israel shall celebrate it. If an alien who resides with you, who wants to celebrate the Passover to the Lord, all his males shall be circumcised. Then he may draw near to celebrate it. He shall be regarded as a native of the land. But no uncircumcised person shall eat of it. There shall be one law for the native and one for aliens who reside among you. Verse 50. All the Israelites did just as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. That very day the Lord brought the Israelites out of the land of Egypt, company by company. Chapter 13. The Lord said to Moses, consecrate to me all the firstborn. Whatever is the first to open the womb among the Israelites of human beings and of animals is mine. Moses said to the people, remember this day on which you came out of Egypt, out of the house of slavery, because the Lord brought you out from there by the strength of hand. No leavened bread shall be eaten. Today in the month of Abib you are going out. When the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which he swore to your ancestors to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey, you shall keep this observance in the month. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day there shall be a festival to the Lord. Unleavened bread shall be eaten for 7 days. No leavened bread shall be seen in your possession, and no leaven shall be seen among you in all your territory. You shall tell your child on that day, it is because of what the Lord did for me when I came out of Egypt. It shall serve for you as a sign on your hand and as a reminder on your forehead, so that the teaching of the Lord may be on your lips. For with a strong hand the Lord brought you out of Egypt. You shall keep this ordinance at its proper time from year to year. So, verse 11. When the Lord has brought you into the land of the Canaanites, as he swore to you and your ancestors, and has given to you, you shall set apart to the Lord all the first that opens the womb. All the firstborn of your livestock that are males shall be the Lord's. But every firstborn donkey you shall redeem with the sheep. If you do not redeem it, you must break its neck. Every firstborn male among your children you shall redeem. So, because they were passed over, and the Egyptians all lost their firstborn, the Israelites now, the firstborn belongs to God. So if you're not going to kill the firstborn, you have to redeem, you have to pay for the firstborn, you have to give God the money, because that firstborn animal, that firstborn child belongs to God. When in the future your child asks you, what does this mean? You shall answer, by strength of hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt, from the house of slavery. When Pharaoh stubbornly refused to let us go, the Lord killed all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from human firstborn to the firstborn of animals. Therefore I sacrifice to the Lord every male that first opens the womb, but every firstborn of my sons I redeem. So you don't sacrifice your baby, but you pay for them. It shall serve as a sign on your hand and as an emblem on your forehead, that by strength of hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt. And I'm going to stop there in the middle of a chapter. So we are at chapter 13. Tomorrow we'll start with 13, verse 17. And we will hear about how they get out of Egypt. But this today was the 10th plague, death of the firstborn, and now the Israelites have to redeem their firstborn and remember Passover for the forever forward. That is an established holiday to be recognized every single year. And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord look at you with favor and give you peace. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Go in peace. Serve the Lord. Thanks be to God. And a little shout out to Tom and Peg. Thanks for following me.